Visions of the Spiritual World by Sadhu Sundar Singh, dated 1926. Chapter 3. The World of Spirits. Once in the course of a conversation, the saints gave me this information. After death, the soul of every human being will enter the world of spirits, and every one, according to the stage of his spiritual growth, will dwell with spirits like in mind and in nature to himself, either in the darkness or in the light of glory. We are assured that no one in the physical body has entered into the spiritual world except Christ and a few saints whose bodies were transformed into glorious bodies. Yet to some it has been granted that, while still dwelling in the world, they can see the world of spirits and heaven itself, as in 2 Corinthians 12:2, though they themselves cannot tell whether they enter paradise in body or in the spirit. After this conversation, these saints conducted me round and showed me many wonderful things and places. I saw that from all sides, thousands upon thousands of souls were constantly arriving in the world of spirits, and that all were attended by angels. The souls of the good had with them only angels and good spirits who had conducted them from their deathbeds. Evil spirits were not allowed to come near to them, but stood far off and watched. I saw also that there were no good spirits with the souls of the really wicked, but about them were evil spirits who had come with them from their deathbeds, while angels too stood by and prevented the evil spirits from giving free play to the spite of their malicious natures and harassing them. The evil spirits almost immediately led these souls away towards the darkness, for when in the flesh they had consistently allowed evil spirits to influence them for evil, and had willingly permitted themselves to be enticed to all kinds of wickedness. For the angels in no way interfere with the free will of any soul. I saw there also many souls who had lately come into the world of spirits, who were attended by both good and evil spirits as well as by angels. But before long, the radical difference of their lives began to assert itself, and they separated themselves, the good in character towards the good, and the evil towards the evil. Sons of light. When the souls of men arrived in the world of spirits, the good at once separate from the evil. In the world, all are mixed together, but it is not so in the spiritual world. I have many times seen that when the spirits of the good, the sons of light, enter into the world of spirits, they first of all bathe in the impalpable air-like waters of a crystal clear ocean, and in this they find an intense and exhilarating refreshment. Within these miraculous waters they move about as if in open air, neither are they drowned beneath them nor in the waters wet them, but, wonderfully cleansed and refreshed and fully purified, they enter into the world of glory and light, where they will ever remain in the presence of their dear Lord and in the fellowship of innumerable saints and angels. Sons of darkness. How different from these are the souls of those whose lives have been evil, ill at ease in the company of the sons of light, and tormented by the all-revealing light of glory. They struggle to hide themselves in places where their impure and sin-stained natures will not be seen. From the lowest and darkest part of the world of spirits, a black and evil-smelling smoke arises, and in their effort to hide themselves from the light, these sons of darkness rush down and cast themselves headlong into it, and from it their bitter wails of remorse and anguish are heard constantly to arise. But heaven is so arranged that the smoke is not seen, nor are the wails of the anguish heard by the spirits in heaven, unless any of them, for some special reason, should wish to see the evil plight of those souls in darkness. Death of a child. A little child died of pneumonia, and a party of angels came to conduct his soul to the world of spirits. I wish that his mother could have seen this wonderful sight. Then, instead of weeping, she would have sung with joy, for the angels take care of the little ones with a care and love that no mother ever could show. I heard one of the angels say to another, "See how this child's mother weeps over this short and temporal separation. In a very few years she will be happy again with her child. Then the angels took the child's soul to that beautiful and light-filled part of heaven, which is set apart for children, where they care for them and teach them in all heavenly wisdom until gradually the little ones become like the angels. After some time, this child's mother also died, and her child, who had now become like the angels, came with other angels to welcome the soul of his mother. When he said to her, "Mother, do you not know me? I am your son Theodore." The mother's heart was flooded with joy, and when they embraced one another, their tears of joy fell like flowers. It was a touching sight. Then as they walked along together, he kept on pointing out and explaining to her the things around them, and during the time appointed for her stay in the intermediate state, he remained with her. And when the period necessary for instruction in that world was completed, he took her with him to the higher sphere where he himself dwelt. There on all sides were wonderful and joyous surroundings, and unnumbered souls of men were there, who in the world had borne all kinds of suffering for the sake of Christ, and in the end had been raised to this glorious place of honor. All around were matchless and exceedingly beautiful mountains, springs, and landscapes, and in the gardens were abundancy of all kinds of sweet fruits and beautiful flowers. Everything the heart could desire was there. Then he said to his mother, "In the world which is the dim reflection of this real world, our dear ones are grieving over us. But, tell me, is this death or the real life for which every heart yearns?" The mother said, "Son, this is the true life. If I had known in the world the whole truth about heaven, I would never have grieved over your death. What a pity it is those in the world are so blind." In spite of the fact that Christ has explained quite clearly about the state of glory, and that the Gospels again and again tell of this eternal kingdom of the Father, yet not only ignorant people, but many enlightened believers as well, still remain altogether unaware of its glory. May God grant that all may enter into the abiding joy of this place. Death of a philosopher. The soul of a German philosopher entered into the world of spirits and saw from afar the incomparable glory of the spiritual world and the boundless happiness of its people. He was delighted with what he saw, but his stubborn intellectualism stood in the way of entering into it and enjoying its happiness. Instead of admitting that it was real, he argued thus with himself: "There is no doubt at all that I see all this, but what proof is there that it has an objective existence and is not some illusion conjured up by my mind? From end to end of all this scene, I will apply the test of logic, philosophy, and science, and then only will I be convinced that it has a reality of its own and is no illusion." Then the angels answered him, "It is evident from your speech that your intellectualism has warped your whole nature, for as spiritual and not bodily eyes are needed to see the spiritual world, so spiritual understanding is necessary to comprehend its reality, and not mental exercises in the fundamentals of logic and philosophy. Your science that deals with material facts has been left behind with your physical skull and brain in the world. Here, only that spiritual wisdom is of use which arises out of the fear and love of God." Then said one of the angels to another, "What a pity it is that people forget that precious word of our Lord. Except ye be converted and become as little children, ye shall in no wise enter into the kingdom of heaven." Matthew chapter 18, verse 3. I asked one of the angels what the end of this man would be, and he replied, "If this man's life had been altogether bad, then he would at once have joined the spirits of darkness, but he is not without a moral sense. So, for a very long time he will wander blindly round in the dim light of the lower parts of the intermediate state, and keep on bumping his philosophical head until tired of his foolishness he repents. Then he will be ready to receive the necessary instruction from the angels appointed for the purpose, and when instructed, will be fit to enter into the fuller light of God in the higher sphere." In one sense, the whole of the infinite space, filled as it is with the presence of God, who is Spirit, is a spiritual world. In another sense, the world also is a spirit world, for its inhabitants are spirits clothed with human bodies. But there is yet another world of spirits, which is the temporal dwelling place of spirits after they leave the body at death. This is an immediate state, a state between the glory and light of the highest heavens and dimness and darkness of the lowest hells. In it are innumerable places of existence, and the soul is conducted to that place for which its progress in the world has befitted it. There angels specially appointed to this work instruct it for a time, that may be long or short, before it goes to join the society of those spirits, good spirits in the greater light or evil spirits in the greater darkness, that are like in nature and in mind to itself. End of chapter 3 had been read by Peter John Paresis. Visions of the Spiritual World by Sadhu Sundar Singh, dated 1926.